How cool would it be to just tap on a map, get the coordinates, and from an address get actually the positions, or from a position get the addresses that are nearby? That's exactly what we're going to see in this video. Here we have the app that we're going to build in this video. This is building on of the video that I've made earlier about implementing and setting up these maps. But here I'm taking it a step further. So if we zoom in here a little bit and we go to Via di San Vitale, which is, that's how it sounds in Italy. You click on here and you will get the coordinates for this specific point on the map. So that's okay. Then it will also get the address through the geocoder from that position, which is Via di San Vitale. So that's the same, so it checks out. Okay, and then we get the position for an address that I've entered here, which is in this case Broadway, New York. And from there we will see how to actually move our map to that position on the map. And here we are in Broadway, New York. So let's just quickly go over to Visual Studio and see how to implement all this goodness. It's almost becoming a fixed part in my videos, but I'm personally very happy about that. I have 2 new shoutouts to do for people that have joined my channel as a member, as a senior developer to be exact. So thank you Darabam, which is probably your nickname, and thank you Mohammed Shaban. Thank you so much for joining this channel as a member, and of course I appreciate every one of you viewers just as much, but the members just a little bit more. So if you want to maybe consider joining my membership, my channel, then check out the join button on the channel or under this video and see what that's all about. So here we are in Visual Studio for Mac 2019. You can see on the left our map sample that I've been using in another video. So check that out if you haven't done that first to see how to actually set up the maps. On the right, you can see it running on the iOS simulator. In this case, of course, it also works on Android, UWP, but then you will see Google Maps or Bing Maps depending on what you're using, because that is how Xamarin.Forms.Maps works. I'm going to show you this for iOS, but this is all Forms code. This all lives on the shared platform, on the shared project. So if you're implementing this, then it automatically also works for other platforms that you might have in your project. Now, first things first, let's update this little thing right here, maps. I'm just going to go with geocoding. I'm going to show you some other stuff too, but the geocoding is a big thing. So geocoding sample, there we go. And here you can see this is just a map that we've implemented in the previous video. I can zoom out. It is showing my actual location, which is here at the Apple campus, I think, which can be set with the iOS simulator, or if you're using your physical device, it will use your actual location. I've got Xamarin.Forms.Maps installed, which is a NuGet package. So let's quickly go into manage NuGet packages right here. You can see installed, I have Xamarin.Forms.Maps. It always matches the version of Xamarin.Forms. So check if that is the case for your project as well. And whenever we have that, you can implement a map just like this. There's a bunch of initialization code. Again, check out the other video to see what that is all about. Now, what I'm going to do is actually show you how to get coordinates, because that was questions that I got under my other video, how to get coordinates from the map. And actually, I'm going to do that by showing you how to do it on a tab. So here you can do map clicked. And I can say new event handler, so it will create a new event handler for me. And then I go to my main page, code behind, and you can see I have this this handler now. So that is cool. And what I can then simply do is say display alert. Let's just do it in an alert. For a actual project, you probably want to do some other stuff. Position, or let's make it coordinates. There we go. And I'm going to use some string interpolation. Whoops, like that. So I'm going to say lat for latitude and long for longitude. And let's add an OK button here. And what you will get through this event handler is here this mapped click event arcs. And in that event arcs, we have a couple of things. So let's see the e dot position. So that's the thing that we want. And dot position dot latitude and longitude. So there you go. So let's just insert that here. E dot position dot longitude. There we go. And this is it, actually. So I need to stop running this and run it again because I've changed some things in the code here. Let's wait for this to come back up, and here it is already. And then whenever I tap somewhere on the map, somewhere here in Rome, you will get a box with the actual coordinates of the thing that I've tapped on. So that is pretty cool. And I can, zoom in so I can make it a little bit more precise. I can click here and you will get the coordinates for this one or for this one. And you can just keep clicking anywhere and get the coordinates. So that is pretty cool, I think. But let's take it a step further and actually, get addresses for the position you're clicking, or get the position for an address, right? So that will be cool to implement as well. That might be something that you're using whenever you're building some kind of navigation app or whatnot. So to do that, we are going to use the geocoder, and that is actually in the Xamarin.Forms.Maps namespace. So I'm already here using Xamarin.Forms.Maps here at the top. So I should be just able to say, actually, let's just do it a little right way. So let's make a field on my class and say private read only geocoder. There we go. Geocoder is new geocoder. There we go. See, so this is a class that you can get an instance of. Nothing fancy here, just a geocoder. And you can reuse the same instance over and over again, so you can just do this basically. And in that geocoder, we can say get addresses for position, because you will get a list of multiple addresses, or get positions for address, which allows you to enter an address and you will get a list of positions, because depending on how you input the address, it might come up with more positions somewhere around the world, and you can pick the right one basically. So let's start with the easiest one, the addresses for position. So we already get the position from tapping on the map somewhere. And if we then just say, we can input the position. So if we can then just say in e.position, which we get from the event, let's make this addresses. There we go. And we need to await this. So then we also need to make the handler async. There we go. And now we should be able to get the addresses for this position. And you might get multiple, so we're going to put in a breakpoint so we can inspect that for a little bit. But what I'm then going to do is just say display alert with address, and I'm just going to pick the first address first, or default, from that thing to string. There we go. And do it OK, and then show that in an alert. The display alert is async as well, so that's why we get the green squiggly. So let's do it the right thing, and let's add await here. And now we should be able to also get the address for the position that we tapped on. So again, this is a change in code, so let me stop this and restart it again. And whenever it comes back up, we can click on the map, and we should get a display alert first with the coordinates. So that still works. We've already seen that. But now we should also see that we have addresses. Well, in this case, we just have one. But you can have a list here of multiple addresses. But you can see we get the address nicely. So that is pretty cool. Let's try to zoom in here a little bit. Whoops. So here we're at the Via Genova. Let's click that, and it should give us something. Do we have multiple already? No, it's always just one. So there are scenarios where you can have multiple. And here we are at the Via Genova. That's my Italian voice. I don't know why I do that. So that's how you can get the addresses for a position. Now, again, if you get multiple, think of, again, the navigation app scenario where you might have multiple addresses. Just let the user pick one maybe, or I don't know, do something else that makes sense for your scenario. Okay, so but now the other way around, which is a little bit harder because you have to get like the address format right to actually, let the OS understand where the address is or how the address looks like. Actually, that's kind of interesting. So this geocoder is something that is provided by the OS. So this is built in the iOS maps, or the Android, the Google Maps, or the Bing Maps. So there might even be differences between the platforms how you should enter the address. So there is another geocoding. I think it actually uses the same APIs, but there's another geocoding API in the Xamarin Essentials. A video should pop up on your screen right now, or you can find it down below in the video description. I did a video on that as well. But it gives you a little bit more of a structured address instead of just these strings. So you might want to check that out as well. So let's see how we can do that. Actually, then we're going to go to var positions is await geocoder.get positions for address async. And this just wants a string, right? So let's just take an obvious one. Let's just say Broadway, New York. I'm pretty sure that it will pick up on this one. And then we're going to pop another display alert, there we go, with position. And I'm going to say positions dot first. So again, I'm going to just see if we're actually, this is not going to work. Actually, let's copy this thing from here. There we go, positions dot first dot latitude. There we go. And the other one for longitude. Now, in a real case scenario, please don't try this at home. Because this first will blow up if there's no position. So if it doesn't find the address, this code will blow up. So please add some error handling and other stuff in here. But you know, demo code at work. So this should work, display alert, and it gets the position for this address, right? So let's see if that works. I'm going to, actually, let's comment this out for a little bit so we don't see all the displays all the time. Let's restart the app. And now whenever we get here, actually, we don't have to do anything. It will just boot up. It will get the coordinates for this address. Oh no, we need to click, sorry. We need to click because this is on the event handler. So there we go. We have this position. And yes, so this is the position for Broadway, apparently. 40, 73, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know, my coordinates knowledge is not that great. So wouldn't it be great if we could actually check if this makes sense? Well, we can. You can also, of course, I mean, this is obvious functionality of the map, right? So on the map, you can also say go to a certain region. So how cool would it be if we can go to these actual coordinates to see if this is actually Broadway? So let's keep it running for now. And we can say here in our main page, we have to give this map a X name so we can reference it. Let's make it my map. And then here from the code behind, I can say my map dot move to region. And here it needs a map span. And the first thing you might want to do is say new map span, right? And then you, whoops, map span. And then you get this constructor which wants a position and latitude degrees and longitude degrees, which is fine if you know what to enter here. But I can make this easier for you. So let's just go and do map span, which has some kind of, here we go, static method where you can create a map span from center and radius, which makes it very much easier because now we can just say a position from the center and we can say a distance for the radius, which will say like, you know, which radius am I going to show here? So the first thing that we can do is simply say positions dot first, because now we know we have a result. Phew. And we can say, well, actually dot first, that's it. We don't need to specify the latitude, longitude, we just need the position. And then for the distance, you can again go like, hey, new distance, which is, you know, it has a couple of options here, double meters. Oh, so the default is meters, that's cool. But again, this also has some kind of static method where you can say distance dot from kilometers, from meters, from miles, and also between positions. So you can also give two positions and you can get the distance between these two positions. So there's a lot of good stuff in here tucked away. So let's say kilometers, and let's say 1 kilometer, which is I think 1.6 miles, something like that. So there we go. And now it should, if I can get rid of this red squiggly, it should also move to the region from Broadway. So let's stop this, let's start it again. And then whenever I tap on the map, it will go to this geocoder, it will find Broadway, New York, and it will show us the coordinates first, and from there it will actually move to that region on the map. So let's see, and there we go, boom, it brings us to Broadway, which is I think somewhere around here. Maybe 1 kilometer was a bit much, but you can see it takes us to the right thing here. So that is pretty nice. Times Square, Empire State Building. Oh man, oh, you can see it, not all of it that I was showing because it was under my camera. But that is how you can get the coordinates from the map, how to get coordinates from an address, and how to actually move your map to those coordinates. So as you can see, a lot is possible with the Xamarin.Forms.Maps library. It has, in my opinion, a couple of rough edges with, addresses are just a string. But for that, again, you can check out the Xamarin Essentials APIs that will do that a little bit better. But there is a lot of hidden good functionality in here that makes it very easy to work with a map. And now you know how to do it. As always, let me know if you have any more questions or things you want to see down in the comments below. And else, just like this video if you've liked it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, which I actually do hope. And for the rest, I will be seeing you for my next video. Keep coding.